Handoff goes. Edwards-Hilaire finds a hole, 30 up the middle, right between the hashes, and Edwards-Hilaire is down to the Texan 21-yard line.
That was part of a huge night for both Clyde Edwards-Hilaire and the Chiefs' offensive line way back in week one. Of course, it takes help from the big guys up front to make plays like that possible. Now, as we all know, the Chiefs had plenty of injuries along the offensive line throughout the year, led to some shuffling around as the season went on. So, could the Chiefs add to their offensive line in 2021? For the answer to that question, we're checking in today with Matt Miller of thedraftscout.com. We're chatting with several draft analysts in the weeks leading up to the draft about certain position groups, and today is all about interior offensive line. So I'm talking guard and center. So Matt, first question, just looking at this draft class as a whole, how would you evaluate the interior offensive line prospects in this year's group?
Yeah, this is a good year for offensive line prospects, whether that's guys in the interior or players we've seen play tackle in college who also have some experience on the interior. So I know we'll get into a lot of names. I don't want to start throwing them out right off the bat, but there are several players. I think there are 2 to 3 who have legitimate first-round grades who are just their guards. And then there are 2 to 3 more who have played guard and maybe moved to tackle later in their career. And so it's an exciting spot to be for Chiefs fans. I know it's not always fun to draft a lineman in the first round. It's not always the most exciting pick, but it has worked out for the Chiefs. Eric Fisher ended up being pretty great as a lineman picked in the first round.
Well, let's jump into those names here and starting in the first round. Let's say the Chiefs want to go interior offensive line at pick number 31 at the back end of the first round. Who are some names that make sense there?
Yeah, I think the name you're going to hear a lot and that I've used a lot in my mock drafts is Landon Dickerson, the center from Alabama. Now, unfortunately, he tore his ACL in the SEC championship game, but all signs point to him being back by late August, early September. A player who transferred from Florida State, ended up being a captain at Alabama. Everyone there absolutely loves him from a personality, a leadership, a character, a work ethic standpoint. He checks every box. He's also a mammoth man at 6'6" at the center position. He's great in the run game. His length shows up in the passing game, so he's exceptional. Now, if center is an area where they feel like, okay, we've got some guys who could play there, let's look at the guard spots. Tevin Jenkins from Oklahoma State, who played right tackle throughout his career there. I just spoke to him recently. He's comfortable playing right guard. Jalen Mayfield, another guy, right tackle at Michigan, is comfortable playing right guard. So there are also those players who have that positional versatility. Dylan Raidens from North Dakota State played left tackle for the Bison. He played left guard at the Senior Bowl. So there are plenty of players who are in that value at pick 31 who show that versatility that we've seen Brett Veach like that in linemen before. The trade for Cameron Irving, a guy who could play every position on the offensive line. And you mentioned the shuffling that guys like Remmers had to do this year. Wiley had to move all over the place. So versatility seems to be something that Brett Veach really likes up there.
Yeah, you mentioned value, and a guy like Landon Dickerson, who you mentioned off the bat there, probably would be a higher pick if he hadn't torn his ACL. So getting a guy like that at the back end of the first round would certainly be some value there for the Chiefs. Now, regardless of what the Chiefs do at 31, let's say they want to add an interior offensive lineman on day 2 or day 3. Who are some names to watch on those days?
Yeah, there's good depth there this year. That's one nice thing about the 21 draft class is the offensive lineman depth really lasts. So Wyatt Davis from Ohio State played right guard for them. He's a little bit of a smaller guy, but he's fierce. He's a mauler in the run game. He's really athletic. So he definitely checks the box there. Somebody we all fell in love with at the Senior Bowl, Quinn Miners from Wisconsin, Whitewater. He's the guy that had the jersey rolled up with the belly hanging out, getting sunburnt all day. His ability to play guard or center would definitely be impressive there. Dante Brown from Alabama, another player who's a little bit bigger than what Kansas City normally goes for on the offensive line, but it's somebody who's been great in the run game, as you referenced. Clyde Edwards-Hilaire would love to see the big boys like this opening up holes for him. And then at the center position, someone to keep an eye on would be Creed Humphrey, another player we saw at the Senior Bowl who I think does fit more of the zone blocking scheme mold at 6'6", right around 300 pounds. The agility, the movement skills, that all those boxes are checked for Creed Humphrey.
Certainly a lot of talent to be had. Cannot wait to see how it all plays out. If you like the NFL draft, this is your guy. Check out his website at thedraftscout.com. Also give him a follow on Twitter at NFL Draft Scout. Matt, awesome stuff as always, man. Really appreciate your time.
You bet, guys. Thank you.